Okay, so we're going to be interviewing, okay, a lady, a TV presenter, which is a lady, obviously. TV presenter, club promoter, entrepreneur, DJ, actor, DJ Elayne. Okay, DJ Elayne, can you just introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, first and foremost, my priority, I would say I'm a grandma. Yes, grandma. A sister, RIP to mum and dad. Yes, I'm a promoter.
Okay, so
presenter.
So what we're going to do is go back in time. Okay.
Ooh, yes.
All right. We're going to go back in time and just ask you about how it was growing up. Did you actually get into music at a young age, or was it something you fell into? Well, as a young age growing up, how was your life? How was it? Was you born in the UK? And tell me about, growing up with your parents and your family, and how was that, first of all?
Wow. Well, my earliest memory, I would say, at mum's would be playing her 7 inches.
Okay.
And that must have been about 2, 3. And the reason why I remember that so well is that we all had the blue spot gram, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, so you had the cabinet stood across.
Yeah.
The turntable was inside there, right? And you could stack the records.
Yeah.
You had the glass cabinet. Right? And what I used to do is I used to put my head either in the glass cabinet or try and get it in there, because I couldn't get enough bass, and I just loved the bass. I'm a bit of a bass head.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's why I remember that so vividly.
Yeah.
And my mum used to say to me, Elayne, take your head out of the cabinet. You know what I mean? And I think the next memory would be like mum going shopping on a weekend.
Yeah.
And the record shop in the arcade in Brixton. After we'd done the shopping, she used to buy us cocoa breads and patty, and leave me and my brother outside the record shop while she went in the record shop. And she always used to buy no less than 2 7 inches.
Okay.
So the patty was to appease us outside while she's in there buying her music. And depending on how much she loved what she bought would determine whether or not she was having a party that night.
Right.
Oh, right.
So
Okay.
if a record, you know what it's like, music's sweet,
Yeah.
it's on a replay. So it would be like that. And
so were these regular parties?
Regular parties, there was always people in my house. There was always food. There was always uncle this and uncle that and auntie this and auntie that. And back in the day as well, it was like if you went to somebody's house more than twice, that was your cousin.
Yeah. That's right. Isn't it? Yeah.
And especially after church, it would be like, right, whose house are we going to go to now? So it could be east, west, north or south. And we'd be across and we'd spend the afternoon there, or they'd come to our house or something like that. And just to digress a little bit, that is one message that I'd really love to communicate to our youngsters, because we didn't have borders.
Yeah, correct.
We didn't have borders. And as I said, if you went to somebody's house more than twice, because first and foremost, your parents would be introducing you to the elder of the family. This is auntie, uncle. Nobody was allowed to call anybody by their first name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to call them Mrs. something sounded odd.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so where did I go from there? So
going to school?
Yes.
How was that? How was you into music at school? Or?
Yes. Oh, God. Were we into music at school? I mean, I especially remember probably 3rd year going upwards, and we used to have what was called the common room.
Yeah.
Right? And the older girls were allowed in there because I went to an all-girls school. And we used to bring our music in, and we used to have talent shows, because the 12 inches as well had the dub.
Yeah.
Yes. You could sing.
Yeah.
You could sing to it or flip it onto the other side and that. And we used to make a stage out of the tabletops and stand on the, you know what I mean? Or in the playground, the benches that come off the wall. We'd stand on there, and do whatever. You know, I remember us doing sugar, honey, honey. We had a whole dance to it and everything, you know. What else do I remember about music? And of course, growing up, we were like grown on Radio 1.
Yeah.
So even now, I do take pleasure in playing tunes, Human Rhapsody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, all those
Across
kind
the board.
of pop tunes as well, because we know the lyrics.
We know them. Yeah.
We grew up on them. And then rushing home to watch Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
And if there was a black person on there, black person, do you know what I mean? To see Ken Booth and all of these people that were on Top of the Pops.
Janet Kay was on Top of the Pops.
Kay,
who was it? Aswad.
Yes, Aswad.
Yeah.
Even Black Slate
Black Slate was on there.
Pops.
Yep.
Weren't you on there?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, that was something else, to be honest with you. Because at that time, I'd done a breakfast show on LWR. So I always have to say big up to Zach, because when he gave me the breakfast show, there was no other woman with their own show on radio, whether it be pirate or legal.
So you're a bit of a pioneer.
It seems that way. Miss P, actually. Miss P was on...
Was she Radio 1 now?
She was on one of the main... She was legal.
Legal, yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
remember
was legal.
Miss P, yeah.
Yeah, but she was doing... no, she was doing Dread Broadcasting.
Okay.
She was on Dread... She came from Dread Broadcasting and I think she went legal. I can't remember.
Yeah, I do remember as legal, Miss P, at some stage.
But I guess when I came about and Zach put me on, there was nobody doing prime time, is what I should say, because I think Miss P was before me. I think she was before me, and having me on doing breakfast, it woke up Capital Radio, the BBC, and all of them, and then we got Janice Long.
Yes, right.
And I remember Janice Long having me on her show. And I remember they didn't have turntables in the studio. She had her producer behind the glass.
Yeah.
And, you know, she said she announced the next track or whatever like that, and then the music went off and obviously the mics went down. And I said to her, don't you put your
Who's
on?
DJing?
Yeah. And she said, no, why do you? I was like, well, yeah, you know what I mean? And she was completely fascinated that a woman was selecting music and speaking and all of these kind of things. Well, so I remember that quite distinctively. And I think from there I got poached by BBC World Service. And what that was, what they did is that they made BBC Programme Services. I always get the two mixed up. Programme Services, and I remember when they called me into the office, they were offering me this placement, offering to train me and all of these kind of things, and they said, but you'd have to give up your spot on LWR. Well, no. No. I said, oh, I'm really sorry. No, I can't do that. And she said, well, I don't know you're doing it.
There you go. That's cool.
I don't know you're doing it. So I said, okay, works for me. And then they took me in. I interviewed Jermaine Jackson. Oh my God. There was a whole host of people, loads of people. If you think of Jermaine Jackson and then work it down, because what was happening now was the fact that I was the link to these people that were coming in, because they may have known Jermaine Jackson, but they weren't familiar really with the likes of Luther Vandross and Anita Baker and all of these people, you know. But we were getting the interviews being on LWR, right? Because we were the tastemakers.
Yeah.
And so I would have the BBC UR, which gave me even more privilege, you know, and I was getting the interviews and using them on LWR, editing them at the BBC. Now, that there was baptism by fire.
Right.
Because for those that don't know what the Ewer is, it's basically a portable reel-to-reel.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you try to edit with that, you only have to cut the wrong place. And if it ends up on the floor, you don't know where you're going to start again.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's where I learned China Black, you know, which is the right thing in when you mark the place, and the sellotape on it, this and that. Oh my God, it was. And the interviews had to be at a certain length of time.
Yeah.
So there was that discipline came into it as well. And so you'd make these programs, and it would then go into a pool, if you like, and all the other BBC regional stations would, you know, pick out what they wanted to play.
Yeah.
It would also go out to all the army bases and stuff like that.
And also gave you massive opportunity to spread your wings.
I mean, it was, but you know, the funny thing is that of course it was an opportunity, but for me, LWR was bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, because that was a natural thing for me. I didn't have to think about that. And I don't know where I got the energy from, because doing the breakfast show Monday through till Friday, and sometimes I would do Zach's show because Zach was the proprietor,
Yeah.
and he followed me with the reggae show.
Right.
So my background, I've come from reggae,
Yeah.
but I got into soul and was playing mainly soul. So it gave me great pleasure
Yeah.
to do like 5 hours on the radio in the morning.
Right.
But the reason why I was telling you that is that I would get booked throughout the week as well, because obviously doing the breakfast show, everyone's listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so you commanded the audience. So I don't know where I found energy to be,
and the time,
but you just did.
Right.
You just did. And to go and do all the interviews for the Beeb as well. But I mean, it was fantastic, and the discipline that the Beeb gave me as well, it gave me how to really package an interview. So you'd have to have the what would they call it, the intro, you know, and then the interview came, and you know what I mean, and then you'd have to write the text to promote it, so whoever's looking can see what they can expect from the content, you know. So I did that for about a year, 2 years.
But where did Absolute Radio come in? Was you on Absolute Radio as well, or was that? No. Was it anything to do with country music?
No.
Was it on a country, something to do with country? I read somewhere, DJ Elayne country something.
You sure it weren't the white one, because there's another.
Once we think about that,
Elayne, I saw that. Sorry.
Elayne, did you kind of realise that you were a bit of a trailblazer whilst you were doing it?
No, because I didn't even realise I was the first. I didn't even realise that.
Yeah.
Literally, I suppose everything I've done, it's happened on me.
Yeah.
And I've just risen to the occasion.
Yeah.
You know. It's just happened on me, and I've just thought, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that, because I mean, I was DJing before I got on to LWR, and I was playing at the town. It was either the Town and Country Club or it was Hammersmith Palais, and this is a in-house running argument between myself and Daddy Ernie, because it was Daddy Ernie who saw me DJing, and when I came off stage, he was waiting for me in the wings, and he went, "You after my job?" Because of course I'm playing music and I'm vibing.
Yeah.
Women didn't do that, right? So I went, no, because I didn't know who he was. I went, no.
Yeah.
Then he said, have you thought about doing radio? And I went, what have you got for me?
Yeah.
So he says, I'm on LWR. He said, if you bring a demo tape up to me, because he was at Hawkeye Records in Harleston at the time, I'll get it to Zach and then see what he says. So that might have been the Friday night.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a Friday night. I went straight home, made my demo tape, and then went all the way up to Harleston and gave it to him. Then I was getting a call by the Saturday night That's what I loved about, you know, people like Daddy.
Yeah.
They
On it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't sleep either. I just did it. And then by the Saturday night, I was getting a phone call from Zach to come and meet him at Bentley's.
Remember Bentley's?
Yeah. Okay.
Bentley's. And I went down there. Fuzzy D was there.
Yeah.
LWR crew was there because he was playing God Rest His Soul. Oh my God, what's his name? Who was playing? His name is Synonymous. He was a rapper as well. Oh my God, what's his name? It's going to come back to me. A mixer.
I'm not going to say anything because it might be the wrong...
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, we actually went to America together. What's his name? I can't remember his name. But anyway, he was playing and spoke with Zach, and by that evening he said to me, do you want to do the breakfast show? And I was like, yeah. And he said, can you start tomorrow morning? And I thought, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, you know, so if I think about things too long.
Yeah.
You know. Sometimes you gotta just bite the bullet.
What about 291?
The 291 came after LWR. So I've been on LWR a few years now, and by that time, you know, I was picking up the mail as well. Driving up to what's the place called? Cavendish Square. Was it Cavendish Square? 37 Cavendish Square was the postal address, I think it was, and that was in the West End. So I was driving from the studio, having done all those hours, picking up the mail and bringing it back. But of course, a lot of the mail was for me. Yeah. And I used to have a listener who used to send me a postal order to buy myself flowers and chocolates.
Oh, right, okay.
I know. And I think I've still got a black bag full of mail in my loft. I can't wait to get to it and get all that mail out and just, you know what I mean, go through it all. But yeah, and so, and then even with the mail, I remember also getting so much music from the record companies, and remember the mainstream record companies weren't supposed to be dealing with us.
Yeah.
According to them, we're illegal, right? But I was on all of their mailing lists, so I got myself a PO box, and I used to go down and pick it up. And I mean, when I tell you the stack of music that I used to get, my God.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll finish off this bit, right? And the stack of music I used to get was just overwhelming. But so a lot of the time disappointing, you know, because they would spend all this money on the packaging, glossy, beautiful. But really it's not.
Yeah, the content ain't great.
You know?
Yeah. Has it changed though? Well, we'll talk about it later anyway.
Listen, we're going to have a break now. And we're going to come back with DJ Elayne. Some more interesting items in store for you. Watch out for the next part. Right, we're back with Elite Entertainment Podcast, and we're here with the famous DJ Elayne.
And trailblazing
as well. So basically, we're gonna concentrate on what you're doing now. Okay, we've been in the past, and you've given us a full description of you coming up through the business. What are you doing now? You probably could go back a little way. We did touch on 291 Club, which was famous in Hackney. Everybody knew. Well, it was famous everywhere. It was. Tell us a little bit about that, and then you can move on to what you're doing now and the future.
Well, actually, let me pick up from where we left off.
Okay.
Because, like, picking up I was saying to you that the record companies were sending me so many well-packaged new artists and new music and that.
Yeah.
And I used to get on there and I used to say, boy, I've received this from wherever. We'll listen to it together, listen to it quickly, fly through it, and actually like, boy, there's only one thing left to do with this, you know. He knows it as a frisbee.
Yeah.
I used to be really rude. And it used to annoy me, and I used to say things like, I could go to the local estate and find more talent if they're short of talent.
Yeah.
Let me find you some talent. And so I did. I went to I mean, was it Four Aces?
Four Aces.
In that corner, Rampage played there as well. And I forgot what his name was, but I asked him for the club on a Saturday night. I don't think they were doing too well on the Saturday night. And I had auditions on the Monday, and I did it for about a good 10 weeks or so. It was packed. Showcased my talent. Fastly outgrew there. Then took it to Pal Joey's in the West End. Then Charlie Hanson, Bev Randall came down to be a judge. Even Angela Marr came on there as well. She came second on one of the shows. And Charlie Hanson came up to me at the end of the night and he said he's putting together a variety show at the Hackney Empire and he would like to include my talent show. Well, it would be really, really rude of me to say that. So rude. So I said yes, of course, and then the 291 Club was born. And the 291 Club is called that because it's 291 Mare Street. And so that's how the 291 Club was born. And of course, lucky enough for me, when LWT's chairperson came in to watch it to see whether or not they wanted it for TV, they said they'd love it, but they just wanted the talent show because I think that's that's where people were getting involved. You know what I mean? If he was wearing white socks, they'd boo you. You know what I mean? And so, and in fact, just a little background there. TV shows never used to film in the dark, and they never used to film the audience, more to the point.
Right.
And they had to find a camera that they could keep the lights off and film in the dark because they were like saying we could film this but we'd have to film it with the lights on and myself and Bev were like no we don't understand, black people ain't gonna want that. So they had to go away and find cameras that they could film in the dark. You know? So they tested that out and filmed the audience. Subsequently you got was it Chris Evans, I think, Don't Forget Your Toothbrush.
Yes, I remember that.
And then they started bringing in the audience after that. They got that from that.
Yeah, because I remember going to that and it was quite brutal.
Yeah.
So it was some of the acts, they, you know, if they didn't like them, they would know about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it, you know,
but it was good at the time.
It was good entertainment
to go for.
Absolutely, but the thing is, they didn't know if it was going to work. So Hackney Empire gambled. So what they did, they put us on at 11 o'clock at night after their last house went in.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So technically, 291 Club introduced our culture to theatre. Because we weren't going theatre.
No, correct.
And we were going home, bearding, changing, like we were going dressing up.
Yeah. We used to go. Dress
up. And when you went there, the place was packed. People's legs were hanging off the balcony. Two people sitting in the seat. This was before you had the whole fire regulation. Packed. Queues around the corner. It was awesome. And we used to film 2 shows in one night, so I used to have to change, you know, and when I changed my clothes, I changed my wig. And then from that, I got an underwriter, and that's how the Elayne Smith hair boutique came about. Just to slip a little something in there. So I was doing branding from then. From then. You know, and as we're talking about me, I was also a wag back in the day from early. I was a wag.
Who was the gentleman?
The child of my father, Steve Parsons, who used to play for Orient and Wimbledon. Orient was second division, and he came up from Leighton Orient. He came up from Wimbledon, and then that sadly he broke his leg, and they put him out of the game, kind of thing. But yeah, I was one of the first time wags. Right?
So what was it like being on top of your game? What was the kind of interaction from others? What was family thinking? What were friends thinking? How did it kind of teach you to manage relationships and those types of things?
Well, I used to, a lot of my friends, they would just come along.
Yeah.
Because everything was quite lateral for me.
Yeah.
You know, it was very much like, yeah, I'll do that. Go off and do it. The celebrity thing, I mean, even now when people come up to me and say, oh, you're DJ Elayne and da-da-da, I'm not thinking about it, so it always catches me off guard. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
I still feel normal.
Yeah.
I still feel like if I go to a rave, you'll see me in the corner. You won't see me walking up. Once I've come in and I've kind of I'm looking round, but I'm looking for the most comfortable place to stand. You know, so if I'm not by the DJ's box, just off by the I'm by some speaker box, raving with my friends and that. My brother, I'm just Elayne to him. Elayne. My mum stepped through the door. I'm hungry. You know what I mean? I'm just Elayne. Just Elayne. Wow. And I'm thinking of rebranding. I was talking to somebody who wants to shoot a programme with me, and they were saying, we should relaunch you, you know, what's your middle name? I'm like, oh, you don't want to use my middle name. And
what is it? You put your foot in it.
Yeah, I know. And my middle name is Lysandri, but it's not actually my middle name. It's actually my first name. My dad named me that.
Okay.
And when I looked it up many years ago, Lysandri is actually a man's name, and he had something to do with the railway or something like that. And when I first started school, everyone just had such problems saying my name, so I just changed it to my middle name, which was Elayne. And then when I got into show business, I changed the spelling to a Y, so ELAYNE. I know there's so many twists and turns in my life. But so I'm thinking that this is an exclusive of rebranding and calling myself Lysandri. LASSANDRY.
Have you done acting before?
I have, but nothing serious. Again, kind of acting, falling into it because someone's invited me. So Laverne Archer, she invited me to do a play called Him and Her and the Woman Next Door. I was the woman next door, regrettably. And that was the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life, I think, because it was a play and you had to remember your lines. And my fear is like, oh my God, what if I forget my line? But it was fantastic, you know, so we did that at the Hackney Empire 2 nights, and that was great, and it was lovely to see myself on a poster. The second most challenging thing was doing Top of the Pops, because that was so fastly paced, and that was recorded as live, so even though it was pre-recorded, there was no stopping. You know what I mean?
Just carried on.
You just carried on, and soon as that act on that stage was finished, the camera would pan to you, and you'd be like, yeah, blah 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 blah. And at number 5, we've got you know, and then it pans to the person, and it was just so fast, and they've got all these stages.
Okay.
That the people are performing on, and it just keeps
going. Right. So moving on, I think we touched on it before. The hair products, is that still going? Is it? So how's that doing now? How's that doing now? So it's on the back burner only because I specialise in synthetic hair. I don't do human hair. Right. Without going into the politics, because I don't want people to jump on me. If you wear human hair, that's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. But my USP is synthetic hair. And it's really hard to find beautifully made wigs that's synthetic. I mean, this is synthetic, and I hope it looks good. I didn't know it was.
Can I ask what the difference is?
Yeah. So human hair is what it is. It's come from someone, and usually from India. Right. And you will see them shaving. They grow their hair long, and then they shave it off. The downside to that is that, you know, they're having to shave it for money, and sometimes it's because they're ill. So can you imagine picking up somebody who's
Somebody's,
ill and then putting in your hair?
Yeah.
So that's my thing. And with synthetic hair, it's synthetic. It's fabric. So when I wash it, I put comfort on it.
Okay.
Because it's material, it's fabric.
Okay.
I'm glad that you're actually going into that field, because there are a lot of people who's actually dealing with hair products. It's not people from our culture.
That's right.
But we're the ones who's buying it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're going into that, and I'm proud of you, because that's what I would have done if I was thinking of a business.
Yeah.
That's the business I would have gone into.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? It's, get a piece of the market. And I mean, when I did the Elayne Smith hair boutique, it was in every single Selfridges up and down the country because of my underwriter, Daxbourne, who was already in the field. And what was good about them is that they only did synthetic hair as well.
Yeah.
If they did human hair, it was maybe 1 or 2% of.
Did you have to go for an audition like Dragons Den? Or?
No, not at all. I literally, because I was buying wigs from them, what it was is that I was buying wigs from Selfridges, right? Different kind, bobs and all kinds, so that I could change a lot, because if I was to spend all that time in the hairdressers, I would never get anything done. You know how long it takes us, right? Yeah. So it was just an easy solution to just change. And whenever I saw the response, every time I stepped out on stage, it was so positive. Going to the girls would be like, oh, where'd you get your hair? So I looked at the label and thought, right, okay. And then researched it back, made a meeting with them, and told them what I did, and said that, look, there isn't a good collection of wigs for black women, and I've got TV presence. It makes sense that, give me a label. So they shot a catalogue with me, and they just followed their business plan and put a stand in every single Selfridges up and down the country. They also looked after Rackle Welsh, so I was like
in company,
I was in good company.
Yeah.
Did you ever think of actually opening a shop yourself?
Yes,
with your
I mean
products?
yes. I mean, when I didn't sign the renew the agreement with them, I kind of went on my own, and then I was in Morley's, Brixton, Holloway Road, Moss Brothers, kind of thing. And then, I don't know what happened, there was a lapse. I think I had to look after my mum, and so everything kind of fell to pieces, and But my next plan was to open, like, those bubbles that they used to have, like Pop Shop. The top, was it Top? Not Top Shop, Pops, Socks Pop.
Or Clears or one of them.
Pop Socks. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember? Sock Shop.
Oh, Sock Shop, that's it, yeah, I remember that. The Burlington socks. Yeah.
That's right. I wanted to do that and have them in stations like King's Cross, airports. So I've still got a business plan at home, and so I was really getting into my stride, and then it all just kind of fell apart as it does. But I suppose it was inevitable, really, because I was just this. And if I get a concept in my head, I have to try it out. So hence why I've got so many little brands here. Immunology, the radio station, Fly Fresh and Fat, the album still to do, and
Did you say album?
Yeah, not me singing.
Oh right, okay.
So,
I thought that's another string in your book.
the Fly Fresh and Fat, that was born over at EMI Records when I was A&R manager over there. And so
we kind of skipped past that bit. You're good at throwing things in. So, all right, so let's rewind that. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll come back to EMI.
About what? Which one?
EMI.
EMI Records?
Yeah, I'm being the manager.
So that came about when I was music editor for...
Another one, come on.
Another one. How many times have you had, by the way?
As I say, it's all lateral.
Yeah.
Because of the music background. You know what I mean? They just kind of... And somebody approached me from Deirdre Forbes. Deirdre Forbes approached me and asked if I wanted to be music editor.
Uh-huh.
Well, of course, you know. So again, it meant interviewing people, transcribing and all of that. And because I had that title and the notoriety of being in music, they used to do this music convention up in Manchester. I think they called it City something, anyway. And I got invited to sit on the panel. And when they do these conventions, they have like all these clubs, they book all these clubs and all these different acts would showcase around the city and that.
Yeah.
And I came across this boy group and they were on stage jumping around. There was quite a few of them on stage. And I took the manager's number. Her name was London something, a white woman, London something. And I came back, and because of my connection with the record labels, I thought the best place for this group would be Big Life Records.
Okay.
And so I said, yeah, I got this boy group, you've got to see them, blah, 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 blah. And I left it. And after a few months, Damage was born.
Damage.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember Damage.
Yeah. So I got them signed.
Yeah.
So then I got a call from Paulette Long, who was over at Westbury Music. And she said, there's this job going at EMI Records. I should go for it.
Yeah.
And I said, but I don't know nothing about A&R. She says, well, what do you think you did with Damage?
Yeah.
That's exactly A&R.
Yeah.
So I said, all right. But I weren't thinking that I was going to get it. So I just went in there. I don't even think I put a suit on or anything. And the thing about it is that when you're just doing it, there's no nerves. In fact, I was cheeky. I just bought a brand new Suzuki Jeep, black big chrome wheels, and I felt proper gangster. I used to pull up at the traffic lights like this and just drop the window like this, especially if I saw young youths and the window would go down, I'd be like...
Could make an advert.
Do you know what I mean?
That was really showing off, you know. And so I pulled the car up to this interview, and it just so happened that where I parked it on Manchester Square, it was right under the window where I was having the meeting with JF, his name was, or is. And so he was telling me about this job and telling me what I'm gonna get and what comes with it, American Express cards and this card and petrol card and blah 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 blah. But you know, and I said to him, what kind of car? And before he could answer, I said, because you need to come and see my car. I swear to God. And he looked at me and he got up and he looked at, and I'd left the roof open because it was summertime. I was looking down. He says, like that. So he said, well, it won't be anything like that, but it will be an Astra GSI.
All right, okay.
But which was, you know? Yeah. And in fact, it was Mickey D who chose that car, so I took over his car. I took over his job.
Oh right.
You know, because he went to WEA. And anyway, left from there, went home, didn't think anything of it. And I called Mickey D when I learnt that he right, and I said, I went for the interview and blah blah blah. He goes, you're gonna get it. You're going to get it. And he goes, because you tick all the boxes. You're black, you're a woman, you know your stuff, and JF loves women. He goes, he can bet his bottom dollar on it that you're going to get this job. And he goes, but when he calls, whatever he offers you, ask for 10 grand more.
Okay.
I wasn't that bold.
Yeah.
But he put it in my head.
Yeah.
So when JF called now, and he offered me whatever, and I said, can you up it by 10 grand? And he laughed and he went, yeah, that's the kind of spirit we like. Because what it is that as an A&R manager, you've got to negotiate. And it's not his money. You know
that's
what I mean?
right.
And me asking 10 grand more, I must believe that I'm worth it and I'm not scared to ask for it. So I got me 10 grand more.
Wow.
And there I was at EMI Records. So.
We're going to wrap up this section.
Yeah.
Alright. We're going to be back with you with some more explosive news from this lady. This giving us insight into the music business and the TV business and the theatre business. So we're going to learn a bit more a bit later on. Okay, so see you when we get back.